are there so many houses in Nigeria that nobody lives in? And so many millions have been poured into it. And you would think that for a country that has so much housing deficit, that all of the houses are occupied. But no, many houses are so unoccupied, even though a lot of millions have been poured into it. Sadly, most of these houses are actually owned by Nigerians living abroad who have worked so hard just to have something back home. And after pouring the whole millions, sweat and blood, these houses are lying dormant, not just collecting dust, actually costing them even more money on maintenance every single year. And that's just how it was for this sister that reached out to me recently. She spent close to 300 million naira just to build a house back home in Nigeria. And this house is just lying dormant because she doesn't come back home. And her family, everybody lives abroad. So this house is just lying there and costing her even so much more money. Because of that, she just decided to sell it. But guess what? It was so difficult for her to sell. Why? Most people were pricing that house for the price of the land. Now, imagine spending close to 300 million naira to build a house, and someone is pricing you for 65 million, 70 million, because that is actually the value of the land. It is not just a loss for her anymore. It is actually waste of capital, waste of blood, sweat and tears that went into building this house. Once you build a house, the house from day one start losing value, especially if it's lying dormant and not doing anything. The value of that house continually depreciates. In this case, when people want to buy that house, they are not buying it because of the value of the house anymore, because the house is dormant, needs a lot of maintenance, and it will also be out of date because nobody wants to live in an old house. So why they are actually pricing for the price of the land is because they are buying it to break down the house and erect a new building that would satisfy their taste and the current taste in the market. It's very, very painful, especially for her. Like, I could literally see her pain. This is not just her going through it. There are a lot of people going through the same exact thing. If you find yourself or you know someone that is in this particular situation, what should you or what should they do? This is what you should do. In this kind of situation, I would strongly recommend you not to sell the house yet. At least not yet, because it would be a great loss for you. The only alternative I would recommend for you to do is to actually repurpose this house. Repurpose it to something that will bring you money, either weekly, daily, or monthly. This way, you are going to be turning that dormant house to something that brings you cash flow. And in turn, while you are doing that, you are also increasing the value of the house. So if you even decide to sell it after, the value of the house automatically increases because it's no longer a dormant house collecting dust or needing maintenance. It is now something that brings in money, which is very, very appealing to investors that want to buy. Do you understand? How do you repurpose a house like this? You see, renting to tenant is not the only way to make money from a building. There are many other ways you can repurpose a house to bring you money. One, you can turn it into a production house where podcasters can actually podcast and you own the production house. What this simply means is you just repurpose it to become a very beautiful, serene house where people can actually come, sit down and talk whatever they want to talk on any topic they want to talk. You can host up to 3 podcasts in a house like that. So you just turn this duplex to a production house. What this simply means is that for every revenue coming from any of these podcasts that are being hosted in your apartment or in your building, you have an income coming from there. In doing that, you start earning from creatives. You start earning from talent without actively being involved in the speaking, in the coming to sit down and do video and all of that. This is exactly what is being done in Glitch Africa. This is also what is being done in Wandering in America. This is a whole means of income for you. If you just have a dormant house that you're not doing anything with it, you can turn it into a production house. The second thing you can also do is to repurpose it into an office. This is just an example of what you can do with a dormant house you're not doing anything with. You can repurpose it into a full-fledged office with office spaces, with conference room, and rent it or lease it out to a new business looking for an office space to operate in or to have an address in. This way, this dormant house is no longer dormant anymore. It is now a place of business. It is now a house hosting businesses. So if you even decide to sell it after, it has much more value than when it is dormant. If you are still planning to build, what can you do differently so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you have finished building a house and then you want to sell it because it is not giving you what you want, or it's just lying down there and doing nothing for you? Listen carefully to the things I'm going to be saying in these next few minutes because they are going to be very, very beneficial to you, especially if you are still planning to build. Most of the pain and the regret many investors face after building a house comes from lack of research and planning before building that house. Building a house just to live or just to rent out is not the only way or the only purpose of a house or the only thing you can do with a house. So before you even start to build a house, you need to have a clear chart of where this money is going to and how you can make back your capital and make profit from that house. Before you build any house, look at the environment. What is working there? What can work there? Who is living or renting there? Who wants to live or rent there? This should inform your building decision, because it is the difference between after building a house regretting it and actually knowing exactly what this house can do for you and how it can make you money even before you start building. Let me take for instance this particular property now located at NTA Road, Port Harcourt, Olive Garden Estate, and show you exactly what I mean by planning and actually knowing exactly how these buildings are going to make you money before you even start building it. Every single month, people come into Port Harcourt either to visit or to stay for a while for business purposes, or actually to live, but they are not living for a long time. Some of them are just coming to stay for 3 months, 6 months, one month, and they need a place to stay. Of course, anybody coming into a city, they don't know anybody, they don't know the city yet, they need somewhere to stay. But this is the problem now. Most landlords will tell you that if you don't have an upfront of 2 years rent, they are not renting an apartment to you in Port Harcourt. Now, for someone that wants to stay in the city for, let's say, 3 months or 6 months, you see that this is already a problem. So the only choice they usually have is to either look for someone they can live or spot with, which many people dislike so much, or they have to look for a short-let apartment or a hotel where they are going to be paying daily, which will cost them even more than the rent. You can see that this is a growing problem in the city already. Knowing this and knowing this environment, what can you do now to remedy this situation so you make money immediately and also provide a solution to a growing problem in the city? Imagine building a property or building blocks of apartments strictly to rent out monthly. So you build, you furnish just to rent out monthly to people that need monthly rent. They pay you every single month just to stay in your apartment. This way, you're creating a solution to a thriving housing problem in the city already, and also building a stream of consistent monthly income with your building. Do you understand it? And with this particular strategy, you don't need to manage it daily like they manage short-let, because your property is not just fully a short-let apartment. It is just apartment that you collect monthly rent. So when people want to rent for a month or 2 months or 3 months, they just rent your apartment for that period of time and pay you monthly until their lease expires every month. This particular strategy is already making multi-millions for investors in Abuja and Lagos. But for PH, they are still very, very behind in it. And if you understand investment well, you know that going in with this blue ocean strategy is already positioning you to make very much more from the market before every other investor starts jumping in. If you use this particular strategy in Olive Garden Estate, located at NTA Road, Port Harcourt, these are the 2 biggest advantages you already would have by owning this block of apartments or this block of building for monthly rent in this estate. 1, if you are familiar with Port Harcourt and the environment, you will know that NTA Road is one of the busiest locations in the city, housing many businesses, schools, companies, offices. In fact, it is one of the hubs where young people are major populations in. What this simply means is that people that are going to be renting your monthly rent apartment are already looking to live there and just looking for that solution. Second biggest advantage you already have is that Olive Garden Estate is located in a serene gated estate community that has a good road network, street security, street light, and every single thing someone needs to have a comfortable living condition in an estate. So that alone is an advantage for you building in Olive Garden Estate for this particular monthly rent apartment. Now, I know you already have these questions in your head. Oh, are you sure I'm going to make more money renting monthly? What kind of people are going to be renting my apartment monthly? Are there people in Port Harcourt that wants to rent monthly truly? And how is this going to make me more money? Will the demand be able to keep my apartment full every single month? And if I'm able to start it in this Olive Garden, how much is Olive Garden plot? Can I afford it? What if too many investors copy the same idea and start doing it? Will I still be able to rent completely every single month if I start this? Or you may have a specific question you want to ask me, because everybody is different and everybody's situation is different. This is exactly what you can do right now. Click the link on the description. It will lead you to a quiz. Fill out the quiz and ask any question you want to ask. And I'm going to be reaching out to you personally to answer every single question you have. Now, if you found any value in this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and also share this video to your family and friends. There must be someone that you know that is in this particular situation. Share this video to them so that they can also get an insight on what they can do to remedy the situation. Thank you so much as you do so, and I'm going to see you on the very next video. Bye.